Hello and welcome to Todd Rolls Dice, where today we're going to take a look at the first Journal Tactica for the Horus Heresy version 3. This is the Isstvan V Dropsite Massacre, part 1. So this is a 48-page softback book to accompany the Horus Heresy. Obviously we're in a new edition, this is a new format for releasing these kind of things. This one focuses on the start of the Horus Heresy True, the Isstvan V Dropsite Massacre. It is £16.50 Great British monies. It will vary in your country depending on your currency. I believe that these are still available. Still not entirely sure if they're going to be available for a prolonged period. We know that Journal Tactica number 2 is coming, that's focused all around Saturnine. But this one I thought I'd pick up and we'd have a little look at. So I am not starting Horus Heresy as yet. I still don't have any plans of doing Horus Heresy. But these books intrigue me. I love the narrative side of this kind of gaming. And while the Heresy stuff, it's just too much for me to get into. I much prefer the smaller style skirmish games. I have an interest in it. It's a growing interest and it's quite scary how fast it's growing. The rules set itself sounded pretty good. And the fear of missing out, I thought we'd pick up the first one of these and do a review, just so everybody out there has an idea of what the Journal Tactica is, and moving forward when the next one goes up for pre-order and so on, if it is going to be something that you're interested in, you've got a general idea of how these are presented. But I paid for this one with my own money. This isn't sponsored. It came from my local Warhammer store, trying to support the manager there, who I have a fantastic relationship with. He's a good friend of mine. Would I necessarily say buy these, having flicked through it? And I found it interesting and it's very well put together. Only pick these up if you do want the contents, or it follows your legion, or there's things in there that you want to do something with or learn more about. They are not essential to the game, and if you don't want to play down the narrative side, you can completely ignore this book. But with that little intro done, how about we actually take a look and see what's inside? I will say the artwork is absolutely stunning. But we've had a look at this contents page before. We have the Dropsite Massacre, so there's a big chunk of the Space Marine chapters that were there, and a chronology of the Dropsite Massacre. We then move into mission rules. You have the legendary mission, the first wave scenario in here. Unfortunately, that scenario has been given out as a free PDF. Now, the battlefield assets section of this book hasn't been given away and does tie into that mission if you want it to. So you haven't got all of it, but part of this book has already been given away for free, which is such a weird choice. And then we move into the 3 units that are in this book. So these units are exclusive to this book from what I know. It's an interesting way of releasing units. Behind a price wall again, I'm not a big fan of that, but that's obviously a personal thing. And then we have a final little bit of information at the end. So let's flick through this one. We start with a little bit of preamble about the Dropsite Massacre. And a lot of this book is just taking you through what the Dropsite Massacre was, what happens, who was involved. Not just Space Marines, but there's other forces there as well. You have this beautiful map. I love this. It even breaks down all the legions that are there. So Sons of Horus, Emperor's Children, Death Guard, World Eaters, and the Raven Guard, the Iron Hands, the Salamanders. But also you had some Titan Legio Mortis units, Solar Auxilia squads, both for Heretic and Loyalist forces. And it's just, I love a good map. But I like that they're actually going into a bit more detail and showing you this stuff. This is really, really nice. It's a nice touch. We then go into the betrayal at Isstvan V. And it breaks down the actual units that were there in the numbers. So you have a list of Primarchs for both Loyalist and Heretic. Then breaking down the number of Space Marines that were there, approximately. But you get a good idea. And then the supplementary forces all here as well. Just fascinating. Talk about Salamander's veteran legionaries with really nice Space Marine artwork. The The opposing forces, it breaks down a little bit about the actual people who were there. So we've got the Primarchs here. Iron Warriors, Tactical Legionary, Sons of Horus Legionary, just really nice artwork. It reminds me of the Necromunda style of things. The extent of loyalty, further breaking down the actual individual acts of the chapters. Really, really cool. And it just gives you so much information in the background of what's going on with this. It is very well done. I am quite impressed with how they've put this together. Touching on the Dark Angels, the Blood Angels, the Space Wolves and the Thousand Suns as well, and what each of these chapters were doing at the time. Sons of Horus Tactical Legionary, again, just standard Space Marine armour, but it looks so iconic, doesn't it? Very, very nice. And then we go into the chronology of the Dropsite Massacre, which starts off with the time frame and then so many hours to planetfall, working your way through the actual assault. Planetfall, 0 hours terrain side reel. A little bit on the Raven Guard, and then we're just continuing through each, minutes, hours, days into the actual assault of the Dropsite Massacre. With stunning artwork dropped in there as well. It's just nicely done. Well, I suppose it's not days, is it? It was over in mere hours. Talking about the aftermath. And then we move into our legendary mission. I'm not going to go over this because we've seen this, we touched on this, and it is available as a free PDF from Warcom if you want it. But it's got everything that you'd expect. There are some special mission rules, one of them being battlefield assets. We will touch on that in a second, because moving forward we have a few more shots. This is more of the miniatures gallery. If you've seen a 40k codex before, you'll know exactly what this is. But it actually shows you some of the kit-bashed units that are available in this book as well, and what people have done with them, which is quite nice. Again, it's just a nice showcase of all of the miniatures that were there. Battlefield assets. So this is a new rule that is included in this. It tells you how many you can take, so up to a 1500 point game, 2 assets, up to a 3,500 point game, up to 5 assets. Even up to more than 5,000 point games. That sounds expensive, man. But you can take 10 assets. And then it talks you through the assets here, which is nice. It gives you the rules and the asset costs. And it even shows you what the assets could look like. So these are, I'm going to assume, either 3D printed or custom sculpts that they've done in the design team. But it's nice that it gives you an idea of what these actually are. It would have been nice if they gave you a breakdown, add a few more pages, give you a breakdown of actually building these, what parts you can use, where you can get them from. But having said that, they do that with the units that they've included. So this is the Master of Descent. You can see all the war gear options and things, gives you all the special rules. So a very nice inclusion there. But then as we get into units and the tank, it does actually tell you how to build the unit if you want to. Let's just move that across a little bit more. So the Augur Command and Control Squad, if you wanted to build this squad, you can do it any way you want. It is your hobby. But it does recommend using the crew models from the Rapier batteries. So get rid of that Rapier battery and use those 4 models to represent one of these squads. And it gives you war gear and things so you can build them into that if you wanted to. Really, really nice. And the same with the Hyperios missile tank. It says if you want to build it, you can take the hull of a Scorpius missile tank and the Hyperios missile launcher from the Tarantula missile battery. Yes, you got to buy the 2 sets if you want to kit bash this, but I think that's quite fun. I like that it actually tells you. You don't have to use what they recommend, of course, you can build them any way you want. But that's something that I think Games Workshop have lost sight of. Giving you options of kit bashing is one thing, but actually encouraging you to kit bash is another. But that's your 3 units that are included in this book. And then we get the additional Prime Advantage, which goes through a few more information bits on using the data sheets that you can select in the Astartes army lists. And then finally, that little piece of artwork on that right-hand side. The blade of the traitor is drawn, a Primarch falls, and the Imperium bleeds. So there we go. that is my very quick overview of the Warhammer Horus Heresy 3rd edition Journal Tactica, the Isstvan V Dropsite Massacre, Part 1. So obviously indicating that there will be a Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, they will milk it as much as they can. Why not? It is something that's incredibly popular with the fans. I think that of all of the Horus Heresy products, these are probably going to be some of the most popular just because of what they introduce. I'm on the fence as to if I'll be picking up any more of them. I mean, if one of them focuses on Space Wolves or a Legion that I'm interested in, or I do end up getting into Heresy and I think, yeah, I'd like to know more about this, I'd like to know more about that. Potentially I'll pick more up. I don't feel the need because I'm not actually looking at playing the game right now. This is very much I just bought it to give you guys an idea and see if it's something that you want down the line. I do that from time to time. I'll buy a product to just review. We'll see. The next one is very much focused on Saturnine, kit bashing Saturnine into your custom Legion, or the reason why your Legion would have Saturnine. So it's an interesting choice very early on in this series. I expect it to be coming out very soon, and they have said that they are looking to release these Journal Tacticas quite fast and consistently over the course of probably a 3-year cycle, sadly, for this game. But regardless of how long the cycle is, they're going to be pushing these out quite quickly because you do have rules in there, you do have a new scenario in there, and then obviously a little bit of extra history about the battles that they're focusing on. I'm quite impressed with it. I don't think it's overly expensive. If you got it from a friendly local gaming store or a third-party online store, you would get a bit of discount on it. But £16.50 I thought was okay for what you get in this. I'm very interested to know what your thoughts are. Are you tempted to pick one up now that you've seen what's inside? Or are you just not interested in this style of rules delivery? It is a bit of a tough one, I think, to be putting units in these. I was very critical of that at the start, still very critical of it. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.